I was a gang member, but I was a hustler.
Hustler.
Yeah. So I started selling dope at the age of 13.
13.
Put on at the age of 12. And once I started hustling, it's just like I took off with it. It was what it was, you know, and I told them the truth. You know, like, mommy got another case. So, unfortunately, I'm not going to be coming home a day before your birthday. The judge was like, you're going to get the deal the DA has on the table is 11 years for voluntary manslaughter, but you're also going to get a 10-year gun enhancement.
What's it like having a relationship in prison?
I know, is it forever?
I'm
Is
curious.
it forever? Is it like a weekend? You know?
Oh, no. I mean, she was like, and I want you to know, I forgive you for taking my only child. And she said, I pray that you go to prison and you find God.
Like, where's your mental health at, especially knowing that you got your kids on the outside?
Wow, that's a good. They didn't want to see me prosper, and I made sure I prosper.
Welcome back to Reentry Network Podcast. It's your boy Yak.
It's your boy T.
And we got another killer for you guys today, man. Another great episode. We got an individual who I myself have worked with previously through PV Jobs, and Damion as well too.
Same.
She coming through a program. I'm not gonna say just yet. You gotta stay tuned to find out. But within that program, she came in seeking, employment, training and stuff like that. And we saw how legit she was. We get a lot of individuals that they don't look too determined, but this time she was, and we're like, okay, that's great. Let's make it happen. So. We got into training, we got her working, and from there, she's just been booming, man, just booming. And
hit the ground running.
Yeah, straight up.
Just ran with it.
Honestly. And just a reminder for those that didn't tune into the last podcast where we kind of gave a description of what PV Jobs was, but PV Jobs is a nonprofit organization in LA that provides job training, employment opportunities, and case management opportunities to help individuals that even coming out of incarceration or at risk, foster youth, low income, various individuals to get back on their feet and to get them going. And for example, we have some of our interns that have gone through some of our programs. Shout out to Looney and shout out to our boy Juan, even Kai too, our producer.
Let's get it, baby.
But we're excited to give this person a great warm welcome.
Yeah, what?
So I want to give my homegirl Lorisa, aka LowKey, bring her to the Ding podcast. Let's go, man. Let's give a round of applause. Let's hit that. Let's go.
Hi.
Lorisa, how do you feel?
I feel good.
I like LowKey. LowKey's a dope nickname.
Okay.
Yeah.
I want to know how that.
What was the first thing he said? He said, he said, LowKey, that's really LowKey a good name.
That's LowKey a dope name. I want to find out definitely how you got that. Can you tell us how you got that real quick?
I gave myself the name LowKey.
Really?
Yeah.
Was that because you were LowKey or was like?
My first name was Tomboy, and I came out with the name LowKey because that was me. That's what I was.
How old were you when you got LowKey? Or when you put in LowKey?
15.
15.
Yep.
Okay, so from so you yourself, you've been incarcerated and you were serving you were looking at 21 years, right?
Yes.
You were looking at 21 years, and that's one thing.
No,
that,
actually, I was looking at 52 years.
Oh, at first.
They added a year, which was 53 years.
Wow.
With the L or without the L?
With the L.
Damn. Okay, so again, that's a big difference. It ain't just like 53, you take a deal, you do 85, you do 20 on that. No, you're fighting life.
Right.
Yes.
Okay.
Wow.
So I was fighting life, and they kind of lowered the deal. They lowered the deal, and they took it down to 50 years without the L. I still declined that. And then the DA came with 15 years to life. At that point, I was pissed. And, that ugly side came out. Like, I was telling my lawyer, you could tell the DJ fuck himself. Like, we going to trial. I ain't got nothing to lose. They not giving me no type of deal because 15 to life is not a deal.
Hell no.
It's still life. So after that, we took it to trial. I got a hung jury. And the DA refiled that same day, so I didn't get out of jail. He refiled, which means they had to rebook me into county and all that, and I had to start over.
How? Whoa! This is the first time I'm hearing this. They could do
what?
that.
That's interesting. Yeah.
Yes.
They could
As soon as I got back to the county, I had to stay in the intake part because they had to rebook me and fingerprint me all over, all of that. And because, once you get a hung jury, they're supposed to let you out.
Mm-hmm.
But the DA refiled that same day. But by the time I got back to the county, it was rebooking.
Damn.
So it more so sounds like kind of like bad timing in a way, or is it like bad timing that all that happened on the same day and then she got back
Yeah,
into
no,
it?
I think that's pretty standard. That's one of the biggest misconceptions that we have when you're going through the system, right? How many times have you heard you get a hung jury, you go home, that's it, closed case, they didn't have enough evidence or whatever. But I've heard it more often than not. You get the hung jury, you get rebooked. They can't charge you for the same exact charge, but what good is it if instead of attempted murder, they hit you with conspiracy, which also carries life, right? So it's just a double whammy,
So to get into that, and I want to talk about that experience too. You going through the trials and all that stuff. But obviously, what led you to that is one of the biggest things too. So kind of give us a little background on kind of like where you grew up. You mentioned growing up in South LA though, right?
Yeah, I grew up in South LA from a Crip gang. I was quoted into the game, jumped in. Not really jumped in, like I got put on by a male. And from there, I was a gang member, but I was a hustler.
Hustler.
Yeah. So I started selling dope at the age of 13.
13.
Put on at the age of 12. And once I started hustling, it's just like I took off with it. I was a kid that liked to play video games, buy candies, buy my friends burgers, buy bikes, fix them up, hook them up. Like, I did kid things, but I hustled. I sold drugs,
You hit the candy house and all that?
Yeah, oh yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Come on.
Oh yeah,
man.
bags full of it.
what?
That's when they used to have the penny candy store out.
Yeah, what?
5-cent candy, 15 cents.
See the thing, we
35
would
cents
hit
for
we
candy
hit Party
bars.
City. Are y'all talking about Party City, or y'all talking about like an actual candy store?
Mine was
Okay, so we're on different levels right here. But one thing that interests me, okay, when you say put on though, to kind of clarify, put on is so you didn't say jump in. So put on means what exactly? Getting
You
put
fight.
on.
You fight. We had about 4 fights, and I was not a quitter. Even though I kept getting knocked down, I kept getting back up fighting.
12 years old, though.
Yeah. No, I was 13.
13.
So what separates jump in from put on if they're because I'm assuming
Jump in is when you getting put on by multiple people. I didn't get put on by multiple people. I got put on by a guy.
Gotcha. I didn't even know
So it
that
just
was.
means you're just running a fade back to back to back.
Yeah.
Probably with different
Yeah, just
people.
running
fresh
Got
people.
it.
You get tired. It's a
Absolutely.
way to. Yeah.
Wow, so you're 12 years old when this is happening. So at 13, so I'm guessing you got the game from like hustling. I'm assuming, and you tell me if I'm wrong. You got the
Started
game.
off with marijuana, because I found a bag of marijuana, and I guess each bag in there was $5 at the time, $5 bag of weed. I was told what it was, and when I tried to give it to one of the bigger older homies, he said, "No, you found it. It's yours." So he told me, each one is for $5, like sell them. So I started taking them to school, and I started selling them. And after that, I found a balled up paper bag. It had dope in it. And I took it to the same person, and he was like, "It's yours." And he went in there, he chopped it up, and he told me how to sell it. He told me every piece was a nickel. He cut it up into all nickels, and I started selling dope from there. And then when I seen how much money I was making off of it, I took off with it. So it became an addiction over time.
At that age, what was Pops and Mom saying about that, though?
They didn't know.
They didn't know. You kept it from them.
Nah, they
I'm
didn't
tripping
know.
on how you just found a bag though. like
To
like,
be
how you
honest, let
find
me
a
tell you
bag?
about the second. Well, I really found the bag of weed. I'm gonna tell you that. But when the cops
Second
was
part.
coming,
Where'd
I
you
was,
find that? Like, where'd you find
it
the
was
bag
just
of weed?
it was just in a paper bag. I ain't gonna lie. I used to watch the gang members throw their stuff when they running from the cops or whatever.
Oh.
And if they didn't pick it right up, I roll by on my bike, sweep it up like that.
Wow.
I found it, and I really didn't find it. And I watched them throw it, and I picked it up. But when I thought I was doing a good deed by taking it to him, maybe somebody would claim it. But then when the homie said it's yours, I just ran with that.
Oh, fuck it.
It's mine.
Damn, you were smart to be even like having that kind of strategy to.
Shoot, at them days, we used to run out of food and stuff like that in my house. So, I did anything to, stay above water. Like shit, some of that stuff that I sold, I was feeding my siblings. It's a lot of us. Like, I'll go get extra food or burgers or whatever, chicken. Like, we'll be eating off that.
some time, some whatever, some shit down the block. How many? You had 9 siblings, if I'm not mistaken.
I do have 9 siblings.
9
one
siblings.
deceased.
Damn.
And they all stayed with you. You guys all stayed together.
The first 6 we grew up together because my grandmother raised us, and then kind of all of us is like around each other, in and out of each other's life, but still came up with each other. We were very close and know each other very well.
So you kind of already touched on the experience. So you had income wasn't really like a thing that you had going on with your family. It was a struggle.
We used
day
to
by
run
day.
out of food and stuff like that, and that's just one of the biggest things to me. We had the things that we wanted, like name brand clothes and stuff like that. Like we were spoiled and stuff, but at the end of the month come, we ran out of food. And the month was like the hardest time in our house.
What's that experience like? Knowing you don't have anything to eat. You already mentioned.
I mean, it's not completely like nothing to eat. I mean, it was like some bread in there. My grandmother used to like to make her sugar biscuits. We loved those, and it was like we used to put butter on our bread, sugar on top, like whatever was in there. We try to put it together and make it do what it do.
And as a kid, you got to think back too. How many times did you open up the fridge and you can have it full of fucking food, and you're just like, ain't nothing in there?
Or you have something that don't mix, like you have peanut butter, not the jelly. Or you got
I
the
like
jelly,
that,
not
yeah.
the
Some
peanut
things
butter.
that match. Yeah.
Like yeah.
You know what's odd, real quick? Like a mix that I had when I would come home from school when I was like, in elementary school. Don't judge me. I would get a tortilla and a hot dog and put ketchup on it and cheese, and I would eat that. Am I the only one that would do that? Please tell me I'm not.
No,
that was.
we used to get the hot dog weenies and put them on the stove. and,
Man.
and
Come on.
cook them like
with a
that.
fork.
Yeah,
Just,
with a fork. Yep.
With a piece of
With a
Wonder
fork.
Bread, just right in half. Ain't no hot dog bread.
George Lopez will tell you about that in one of his jokes. Right.
It's so key. It kind of hurts me deep down because half the time I see you will see I drive by a school every day, right?
Yeah.
And so when I drive by the school, sometimes you see all these kids are coming, some kids are walking to school, but half the time you don't realize the kind of shit they may be going through.
That's true.
And you don't even know if right now they're going to school hungry.
Right.
They're rushing to school early because they want to get breakfast.
Right.
Did you have that similar experience where you would try to utilize even school? Were you going to school at that time?
To be honest with you, it's crazy. Like, even though we ran out of food and stuff, but me and all my siblings, we are picky eaters. Very picky eaters. So some of us might have liked it, school food, but I know a lot of us didn't like the school food at all. Like, we probably drink the chocolate milk, or, we didn't eat everything there, so.
Gotcha. So from there, at that
One
age,
way or another, we'll find a way to get some money, and we'll be at the store eating a bag of chips or something.
Yeah.
Okay.
Get the big bag of chips, and we'll munch on that, and or we'll do something,
and mom and pa and grandma too would do their best to kind of try to support on either side of the thing.
My grandmother, she took care of us. She did the best she could with us. She did a great job. She's deceased today, and I really miss her. But we already talking about her birthday's coming up. We already talking about we're gonna sit around and talk about all the good times.
I love that.
Nice. That's really nice.
Yeah.
I love that. So, so from there at 13, you're already involved. But one thing that interests me when we kind of talked about during the pre-screening was you weren't engaging in necessarily in using the drugs. You were more so just selling it and you said it yourself, to kind of just stay afloat.
Yeah.
So you were never participating in any of the.
At that time, no, I wasn't. I know I eventually started smoking weed, but at that time, I wasn't doing any of that.
Did you have any temptations or anything like that? Even
I had
at first?
temptations with the weed because one of my cousins, he's my first cousin. His name is Randy. We didn't know nothing about smoking weed. We know my parents smoked it, my aunties and uncles smoked it. So we went and got a paper bag, and we tore it, thinking that we were making it like a zigzag. And we put the weed in there and tried to smoke it, and we was choking and burning our eyes. We never wanted to smoke this shit again. I'm telling you, it's like we was choking and our eyes was burning bad.
Yeah. That's what
Today I
brown bag
realized
paper
because it
will
was
do
a
for
paper
you.
bag, but we would call ourselves trying to be grown, and we did that, and we still talk about that shit today. I'm like, man, cousin,
That's
remember
hilarious.
that? We really thought we was being grown,
Let me ask you a question real quick. Tell me if I don't know if it's true. I was told when I was in middle school, if you use Bible paper, it's like it works.
Didn't learn that to my adult
Till
age.
prison, probably,
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
But
Everybody
when somebody told me that and they wanted to tear paper out of the Bible, I was completely against it. I was like, guys,
Right.
yeah, I heard that before. I was like,
It has like 15 white sheets in the back. Just saying. You know?
Oh no! Don't even do that.
you're not
T.
lying. It do got
Don't do
15
that.
white
Just
sheets, but I'm
saying,
just
if
saying,
you get
like
the
they
book
blank, but
first,
it's still
you know.
Bible paper.
He said if you get the
Definitely.
book first,
You're winning.
it's a
I
race.
seen people do it before. I ain't gonna lie, they smoked it.
I've seen it, people do it with the letters on it. I've never touched it, but I've
Oh
seen it
no,
with the
they
letters
really
on it.
good.
I
at
can't imagine you
What?
just right here. You're just reading like
You're reading a
beyond
passage.
Yeah, you're just
You
reading
know?
a whole passage.
They're going down.
Oh my gosh,
Like that.
for sure. Yeah. Wow. That's interesting. So when you started participating then at one point, did you feel like it was something you were doing consecutively, like every day, or was it more so?
I was doing that every day. I couldn't wait to get out of school.
That was your grind.
I
100%
was
your
sneaking
grind.
the alley, and it was this trailer in the alley. I was sneaking the alley because my great grandmother, she didn't play. She whooped your butt like she didn't play. So I would have to sneak. So the only way I could sneak is sometimes I went through the school because our street was a dead end. So I'll go through the school, hop the gate just to get up to 109th. Then I'll walk down 109th, creep through the alley, make sure I don't see no family members walking around, and I'll go straight to, they had like this camper trailer, and it was a gang of smokers up in there, and I would go in there, but the worst thing about that is I was smelling, they were smoking it in there, so I would be like holding my nose, having my nose in my shirt, and the homie told me to be aggressive with them, like if they came with $4, tell them no, you don't come with the whole $5, you're not getting nothing, like don't show change me at all, like it's because I was a kid, and I stood my grounds and got my money.
That's nuts, though, that somebody was schooling you at that age. You know,
Right.
like that tough and putting you up on game.
Right.
For whatever it's worth, right? Because at the time, that was game.
Yeah,
But,
that
you
was
know,
game,
at the
and
time.
he schooled me, and to this day, like, I mean, I know it's something that was negative in my life, but I have major respect for him for doing that because I would have let all kind of people get over me, and I didn't let people get over on me. People would come with like $7 talking about, can they get a 10? No, you can get a 5. Like, give me the 5, you get the 5. And then I'll get mad, like, if they keep coming at me like that, I'll take they 7 and still give them a 5.
Yeah, like you asked for it,
Dang, that's
basically.
interesting.
Yeah.
Coming back here like that.
Yep.
So you did this for how long, would you say? You were still at what, middle school at this point?
Yep.
So that carried on through middle school, high school, or what was the deal?
It carried on for years. Like I said, it was addiction. It became
Damn.
an addiction. I was really addicted, and I really didn't stop this addiction till after I got incarcerated. Because when I got incarcerated, I still was doing it in there. And then I kept telling myself, like, this is what got me in got me locked up in the first place. Me out there slinging dope or whatever, and I eventually got caught. Went back out there. It was an addiction. I got caught. You feel me? When I got caught, I still went back out there and did the same thing and got caught again. They're like, okay, we're not playing with her. Looking at 8 years, but I got 3 years with half. So
That
it's
was your first bid right there.
Yeah.
Okay.
It didn't. The bid collided with the other one. So it was like I still didn't get it. I still wanted to hustle. I still wanted to get fast money, like. So when I went to prison, I was doing the same thing. I started selling tobacco, From tobacco became, drugs, and I was just getting my money. And then I got ready to transfer to another prison. But I started, talking to myself. These are the times where I really started talking to myself, like looking in the mirror type of thing.
Yeah.
Because my kids, they started getting to me. They was ready for me to come home. I was getting close, and I was like, I can't go back out here with this same lifestyle.
Mm-hmm.
I can't. I was like, if I go back out here with the same lifestyle, I'm not going to make it, So I started doing this mirror talk thing. It started working, So by the time I got to the other prison, I was still like, in the mix, drinking a little bit because, they have alcohol and everything. You can make it in prison or whatever. I was drinking a little bit.
Real quick to clarify, when you're saying when you got to prison, is this the longer sentence that you had? The longer?
Yeah, I was in the longer system.
So this is the one you're talking about right now. It's the longer one. Dang, okay, so I want to touch on that.
Okay.
I definitely want to touch on that at one point. But for sure, I want to kind of get to what got you to the first sentence, the first The first small one.
Selling dope.
So it was just
downtown, on the block, on the streets.
What happened? Like it was just a easy day and.
It's fast down there. I make $1,000 in 1 hour.
What?
Yeah,
Like serving on Skid Row type of deal.
on Skid Row.
Damn. Even at that, what year was this? Even at those times,
2004,
Skid Row was still that bad.
2005, 2003.
Oh man, I didn't even know about Skid Row at that time. Damn.
Man,
And you're there what, like
I'll be
morning
there,
till day, morning till night? I mean,
no, I wouldn't be greedy with it because I didn't want to get caught up. So I knew the times the cops came out, the jump out boys came out. I didn't go out there at them times. And when I did go down there, I stayed down there an hour, make that 1,000, and I left. And I may go back down there at nighttime. And at nighttime, we have more help from the smokers because they're on the streets. When they say heads up, that means watch your back. We don't know if there's the police or what coming. And they see headlights coming, they be like, heads up, you know. And they'll heads up coming from town, heads up coming from Crocker, they let you know. So, you know, we basically like was kind of having their help at nighttime. But, you know, I went down there at a time because one of my homies got out of jail and he really needed some money. So we went and, you know, he got fronted some sacks and I tried to take him down there to get some fast money, knowing I just left him down there.
yeah.
Not thinking, just trying to help him out and got caught up. That's what happened.
So first bid, you didn't necessarily have to go through the whole juvenile hall back and forth type of
I
deal.
never did juvenile hall.
Okay.
I started going to prison into or jail
County
into,
probably, right?
to my adult age.
Okay.
I think I actually was 18, but I did 3 days in there when I was 18. 3 days in there and I got out.
Now, when you were doing this, did you have your kids already?
Yes, I did.
So you had your kids at how old?
I had when I started, I had my kids through the longer sentence.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
I had them, you know, with the short one too, but the county stuff, I didn't have them.
So you had how many children during the short one?
I got 2 daughters.
You got 2 daughters,
Yeah.
and I'm assuming you had one of them during the short, and then you had another one when you got the long one.
No,
Or am I
both of my
confused?
kids, they 2 years apart.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
So you got busted. You do the little county bid for slanging or whatever.
Yeah, and I had them at the time because at
Okay.
that time, at this time, I was living a hard life. I was staying in the kitchenette. I moved out here by LAX because I wanted my kids, because, you know, ghetto schools are not cool. You know, I mean, you know, we grow up from that area, and these ghetto schools, they really don't be teaching our kids. And my youngest daughter started fighting. So she wasn't doing nothing but fighting in school. And I mean, she was in 3rd grade, ran up on 6th graders, you know. So that
Wow.
was like,
3rd grade on 6th grade?
yeah, she was in 3rd grade, ran up on 6th graders. Like, she got bullied one time, and one of my little sisters took up there and made her fight her bully, which was in the 6th grade. And after that, she didn't let nobody bully her. They said something crazy to her. She'd catch them later. And so I had to get my kids out of that school. So I put them in a white kids school over by LAX airport. There was only black kids there. And then I dealt with a little racism with my youngest daughter because she's dark like me. My oldest daughter is light-skinned. So she didn't go through none of that. So I went through racism, and it wasn't with the kids. It was with the adults being racist to my daughter. You know?
That is sad.
Yeah.
What, like...
Already thinking over, right? Maybe.
Right.
Man,
You know?
I ain't never seen it coming. I'm thinking like maybe she would have dealt with it from the kids, but she dealt with it from adults.
That is hurtful.
Yeah.
And wow. So, and this was... Did that kind of get in the way of, like, you enrolling her into the school, or did you end up not enrolling
they
her?
was
or-
enrolled. They was
She was
going to
enrolled
school.
at that part at that time already.
It was just that my oldest daughter, I enrolled her into a piano class. So that made it her to be at school a little bit longer. So my youngest daughter would have to sit in the office for a little bit just till her class was over. So the lady in the office was being, you know, mean to my daughter, and her teacher also was being mean to her. My daughter would be raising her hand when she was, you know, needed something to explain to her about her schoolwork, and she would be my daughter with her hands, holding her hands for hours. This hand would get tired, she'd raise the other hand.
Wow.
So then when she got tired enough, she went and tapped the lady on the shoulder saying, "Excuse me, ma'am," and the lady reported that my daughter hit her. So then
shit, man. That's a
I went
cold
up
game
there,
right there.
I talked to them. Next thing I know, they calling CPS on me. CPS come out to the kitchenette I was living in with my kids. And she
Real
said,
quick, what's the kitchenette? I don't know what that...
kitchenette is like a motel with a kitchen.
That's it, straight up, just...
Motel with
Bed,
a kitchen,
kitchen,
balcony, 2
Oh, okay.
beds. Yeah.
Damn. Okay, I never heard that term
and
for
with
it.
a bathroom in it. Yeah. So she came, knocked on the door. She said that the school had called her, and I invited her in. And she said, "If you don't mind, I would like to speak to each one of your kids by myself. Is that okay?" And I said, "Yes, okay." And she said, "Before I do any of that, can I check your kitchen?" And I was like, "Yeah." She wanted to check the kitchen, cabinets and stuff. There was food in there, and
Yeah.
cabinets had food and stuff. Everything was clean. I didn't know this lady was popping up. And then so she was like, "Well, can I speak with your kids alone?" I was like, "Yes." I let her take my oldest daughter. So my youngest daughter, like, she talks a lot. So I told her, I said, "I don't know your school." I explained to her while she was talking to my other oldest daughter. I was like, this lady came to talk to you guys because they get involved in your life and then they want to help the kids, like, kind of like monitor you guys with me. Like, she was like, "Mommy, are they going to try to take me from you?" I said, "I don't think that's going to happen." I was like, "So just be honest with the lady, and she's probably going to be looking for bruises on you guys and stuff like that." And then she was like, "Okay." So she went in there and talked to her. The lady came out and said, "I don't see a reason why I should open up a case against you." But she said, "I am going to offer some counseling." And I was like, "Okay." And then she was like, "I also want to offer a round table with you and with the school, with the principal, the teacher, the people in the office. I want a round table with everybody, and my supervisor will be involved in that." And I was like, "Okay." But the principal got in trouble. So when my kids go back to school, they're now treating them different.
The principal
The
got in trouble
principal-
because of that situation.
Yeah, because I
That's
reported
right.
because
Okay.
I was going up to the
Okay.
school. Like, my kids would come home and tell me things, and I would go up there as a parent and try to get
Yes.
down to the problem. You know, so they would send letters talking about their school got broken into, and we'll be the first one to get the letter because my kids are black. My kids are girls. My kids don't wander at night.
Wow.
Yeah.
How old is your youngest one at that time?
She was probably 7.
So at 7 years
7
old,
or 8.
you're having to give this conversation to her to tell her, hey, there's people that are gonna that hopefully don't take you,
Yeah.
but
But
they're
I
gonna
didn't tell
ask.
her in that matter because she would have tripped out. She's
Yeah.
a mama's baby. You know, she would have tripped out. She was like, "Are you trying to take me from you?" And I said, "That's not gonna happen." I have to assure her that because if I didn't, she would start wigging out, crying, and all kinds of stuff.
Now I know this is it may be a personal question, but you're a single mother at this point.
Yeah, single.
So as a single mother, how does that make you feel that you have to have these kind of conversations with your daughter about all that?
I basically had to have, conversation with my kids and to kind of like grow them up faster because it was a lot going on in my life, And a conversation like that, they had to know because that's what happens like in minority places and stuff,
Yeah, no. I 100% agree. My brother and I, we got same thing. We got sent out to another school in Marina Del Rey, and same thing. We would have to go through it, just walking through those neighborhoods. People just looking at us and shit, like closing their doors, thinking like, "What the fuck? We ain't doing not a damn thing. We're just walking home."
Right.
That's a fucking. It's a crazy conversation to have, and it sucks that we have to put our kids through that. You know?
Right. That was the devastating part is that, like, dang, I know I've been through racism in my life, and I'm like, my kid,
Yeah,
I'm like,
that's a tough
youngest
part.
kid? Like that was crazy.
And your oldest one was how old too?
My oldest one,
At that time?
At that time, she was about 9 or 11.
9 or 11. So she was at an age to be able to at least understand what
Yeah,
was
she
kind of
understood.
going on
She
already.
understood.
And hopefully they kicked it. They watched each other. They were good in
Yeah.
that sense, right? They both went to the same school. They probably
Yeah.
kicked it together.
Yeah,
They kept
they
it cool.
they had it. Well, they didn't actually kick it together because they 2 years apart in 2 different grades. But they're pretty close.
Good,
Big
good.
sister try to be the big sister. Little sister, try to lead behind the big
Yeah,
sister.
what?
Want to be like her sister. That's how it was.
At that time, like, what was your ultimate goal, your personal ultimate goal, at least for you or your family? Like,
Well, I really want. I mean, at this time while I was doing all of this, I did have a job.
okay.
Still
I
hustling too,
did.
though?
Yeah, still hustling. I still had a job. I had to at this kitchen I had to pay rent once a week. So I
Right.
had a job, and if that job check, I only got paid every 2 weeks. Money wasn't coming in fast enough, so I had to do something else, and that was hustle. So for me, it was hustle.
Yeah.
Gotcha. So then from there, that was how many years prior to you being incarcerated your first time? That was
Sure, we're getting pretty close because I was living in that kitchenette when I got incarcerated.
Damn. Okay.
So I'm trying to do the math. You had your first baby then at how old?
I was 17 when I got pregnant. I had it when I was
17.
18.
Okay, gotcha. Wow, so there's a lot going on, especially with family. I'm just trying to I'm trying to gather this, bro, because this is the first time I'm hearing about even your perspective of having it be challenged with the school component. Not you personally, no, your children.
Yeah, yeah.
And then from there, you're still trying to hold up and support this family. At the end of the day, people are trying to bring you down.
Yeah.
And
I was working
all you know
12-hour
is hustling
shifts,
too.
too.
So
12-hour shifts.
you're still hustling. You're still doing your shit.
Taking notos, trying to stay woke. Like, it was crazy.
This is kind of more so. This question is gonna be more so like the advocacy part. What could have helped you at that time? That you got? What kind of support could you have gotten that would have helped you alleviate that?
I was actually trying to get help from their dad, because their dad at the time, you know, he living another life, another family, like he had other kids or whatever. And he was sending me $300 a month, but it wasn't enough.
Right.
You know, it's like when kids grow, they get more expensive, you know. So I hit him up, you know, for that $300, and then all of a sudden he told me he can't give it to me no more. And I said, well, I remember telling you that I never filed child support on you, but I think that's what I'm going to have to do. And he said, besides, I don't think she is mine anyway. She's dark. So I really went to the courts.
Damn.
Yeah, so I really went to the courts after that. I went to the court, did all my paperwork, subpoenaed him for a DNA test, and took it there and run. I won. They both 99% his, so he can't get away
Both
from
kids
that.
from one dad. Okay.
Yep.
Damn. So he little did he know that 300 was gonna cost him.
He
a little
didn't
bit.
want to pay the $300 no more, and he, instead of him just saying that, he made it spicier by saying that about my kid, and that didn't do nothing but piss me off and made me really want to do it. You know, because I knew the damage, me filing child support, I knew it was going to take a lot of money from him because he had a good job. So, and they did, and it kind of started helping a little bit because they was giving me $2,000 out of each check.
So you're working the 12-hour shifts. You're getting a decent check from that. You got a little side hustle going on. Now you go to this court thing with Pops, right, with the girls' dad. You get a little bit of income from that. Was that not enough? What ends up happening there where
No,
you weren't
'cause
situated
it
yet?
wasn't enough because, you know, I have to shop for the kids, got to buy food for the kids. I have to pay rent once a week, you know, so that ate that up real fast. That rent
Easy.
was like $400 and something a week.
Yeah.
So, you know, that it wasn't enough, you know.
And 2 kids. I know, you know what I mean? 2 kids, not
Yeah.
1, but 2. So double the expense. Whatever you spend on one, same thing mimicked for the other one.
Yeah.
You know?
Did that kind of like guide you to kind of maybe push more on the hustle side, did you want to do more on that?
I didn't really want to, like, I did do more. Like, you know, I climbed from a small sack to a higher sack. You know, I went from a quarter piece to a half ounce to an ounce,
Hustling.
you know. So I did climb up, but then I kind of, like, went from an ounce back to a half ounce because I don't like holding it. If I don't get rid of it all up in that one day, then I don't want to be holding anything because I don't want to have anything in the car with my kids.
So at this point, you won that kind of thing with the baby's dads, right? You got a little something going on. But I know, me and Brian know, right, from hearing your story and everything, that you ended up, not sure what the timeline is for that, but you ended up getting busted for an extensive amount of time somewhere between that time period.
Right.
Walk us through that if you can.
Well, I don't get into detail about
Absolutely.
that, but you know, it was something that happened that, you know, a misunderstanding and an accident at the same time. So, you know, that's what led my prison term. I didn't go to jail right away. My friends fleed me from the crime scene, and hustling is what got me caught up. When I went in jail for that hustling, for selling drugs, they gave me sales for drugs. Even though when the cops found me, each time they found me, they didn't find no drugs, but I still got charged for them.
That's
You get
random
that?
as hell.
That's
How does
weird.
that even happen? Somebody just saying that Larissa sells dope, she's the one, whatever, and they don't find
The
no
first
dope?
time, they didn't find nothing because by the time they finished, I done wiggled and, you know, got rid of it. And the second time, I did the same thing. Wiggle got rid of it, but I had a scale in my sleeve, which I wind up stuffing in the back of their seat.
Interesting.
And
They pulled that seat out and found that scale because I had wiped my fingerprints off of it. They like, who's that? I'm like, it ain't mine. I don't know. And they said every time we arrest somebody, we check under the seats and pull these seats out. So we're going to charge you with the scale. Plus the drugs. Where's the drugs? I said, I don't have no drugs. And then they gave
I'm a
me
baker.
a co-defendant. Like they just threw some random guy that I didn't even know on me, saying that he was selling dope for me. And I was tripped out. Like some guy, I don't even know this guy, West Boulevard guy, and I was trying to immediately separate my case because I don't know this cat. I don't know like what he do, if he was a informant or a snitch. I didn't know none of that.
Was he a smoker though, or something?
They say he
you
was
don't
downtown. I don't even remember seeing this cat, so it was really
cold.
like, suspicious and unusual to me, and they wouldn't allow me to separate my case from this guy. So that's how I wind up getting a 3 years with half. And from there, I never got out of jail. So they came for me for the case while I was incarcerated.
Oh man. Okay, so you get picked up for a dope case. Somewhere along the lines, there's some fingerprints, there's some other stuff lingering in the background for the other case, and then boom.
No, it wasn't nothing
Okay,
lingering.
okay.
It wasn't nothing lingering. What happened was people started talking to the cops. People I wouldn't even think that would start talking. People went to the cops on their own, just like voluntary. And, that's what they started trying to do their investigation. So they came to the prison, act like I didn't know what they were talking about, and they left me alone. But one of the detectives, he was so pissed because I remember him being bald head, and his bald head was sweating, and he was getting aggressive. And I remember when, as me seeing him get aggressive, because I was cooperating, answering their questions, but then when he started playing, trying to play the good cop and the bad cop, you only could do one. This lady over here is playing the good cop. You can't do both. So I was like, I'm done with this cat. I was like, I don't got nothing else to say without my lawyer. And that's when he knew he couldn't ask me any more questions. So he got really pissed, and he tried not to be aggressive because we're being recorded. So he hurried up and cut that off, and then that's when he slammed something on the table. But she had already got up to walk out to go tell the ISU investigative officers of the prison that they were done with their meeting with me. So they started laughing at those detectives. And before I walked up, because I was like, am I free to go, sir? Am I free to go now? And then he was like, no, you will be escorted. And I'm like, he's a detective. He don't work for the
Has
prison.
no say so in that.
So
prison.
the ISU officer was like, no, she free to go. She can walk alone, So, because they pat me in, make sure I didn't have no weapons. So on the way out, they patted me out, make sure, they didn't give me nothing. And then she gave me her police card. And I just played it cool. I was calm or whatever. And I was like, okay, sir. I was killing him with kindness, And I think that's what got to him the most, me killing him with kindness. Because as he was yelling, I was still calm. I was like, yes, sir. Okay, sir. I understand, sir. And when I said, am I free to go? He was like, no. He was like, you got to be escorted. When the ISU officers told him that I had to, they let me go. And then he said, by the way, I will get down to the bottom of this, and I will make you fry for this. And I was like, okay, sir. Thank you, sir. You have a nice day, sir.
Yeah.
And I left. But, by the time I got to the unit, I was like, my palm of my hands was shaking. Like they was not shaking, but like sweaty. Like my hands was wet, like sweating. And I went straight to the phone, and I called my Uncle Lionel. I told him what was going on. And he was telling me that I should have let him bail me out, but my bail was $2 million. And I was like, he really was gonna put up his house and all of that. Like, I'm like, $2 million. Like, what? At that time, I didn't know the percentage of how much they had to pay. I didn't know they didn't have to pay the whole $2 million. I'm thinking maybe they had to pay $1 million. I didn't know if it was less than that or what. But I was telling my uncle, no, I'm just gonna fight it. Like, I'll be okay. And he was like, well, do you need me to get you some lawyers? And I was like, I'm already in prison, And he was like, what's the business card? And then he was like, give me the information on that and rip it up and throw it away. And I was like, okay. And I did that. And he was like, I'm going to take care of this part right here. And he was like, because I don't think that was their rights to come down there and question you like that. And he was like, it's a whole politic thing with, you know, by you already having your lawyers and, you know, things that they could have did in a different manner or whatever. I didn't understand it because I never been in that situation before.
So at that time, were you already done with a 3.5? At that time, did they show up at the
No,
end?
I was there because I was getting ready to get out, and then
So
he
you were
said,
almost done with that.
yeah,
bid.
he said we will be sending you a subpoena to go to court.
Wow.
And I was like, okay, sir. So I remember telling my daughter that I would be there a day before her birthday.
Damn.
But that came up, so that plan went out the door to be there. So now I have to figure out how, you know, my daughter's gonna accept me telling her because I didn't sugarcoat shit with my kids. Yeah, it was what it was, you know, and I told them the truth. You know, like, mommy got another case. So unfortunately, I'm not gonna be coming home a day before your birthday.
Wow.
And that's hurtful for them, you know, and it hurted me to tell her that, you know. So, but I was fortunately, their dad stepped up when I got incarcerated. He stepped up to the plate and made sure he came and cared for his kids while I was incarcerated. So that was the best part, you know, them being with the other parent. That's what I'd rather them to be than with a family member, because I know, you know, you're going to get that love from your parent, you know.
Right.
So when my family was telling me they wanted to get the kids, I already had my mind made up before I even talked to him. I said, no, they dad going to step up to the plate. You know, I was sure of that.
And you knew he had their best interests and everything.
Yeah.
You were like, cool.
Yeah,
let him
he
go
was
with
already
Pops.
raising 6 of his boys because he has a lot of kids too. He has 10.
6 boys, man.
Yeah, he had 6
Wow.
boys he was already raising. So my daughters was, you know, he got other daughters, but my daughters are the only one he raised. So, yeah, he did step up to the
Gotcha.
plate. He did a good job.
When those detectives showed up, what did they tell you were fighting?
They didn't tell me I was fighting anything. They told me that they was questioning me about, you know, what happened. And I was like, I don't know.
At that point, I don't know what you're talking
I don't
about,
know.
right?
Yeah, I don't know. They were bringing up names that I didn't know. And when they brought up government names, I knew these people because we worked at the same company, a security company for Universal Filming.
Oh, shit, okay.
And I guess he would say a name, but he said a nickname first, and I was like, I don't know who that is. And then he said a government name. I knew who that was because I worked with this person. So I was like, yeah, I know that person. And then he tried to make it like I was lying. He was like, I just asked you. You said you didn't know this person. Whoop, whoop. And I said, no, you didn't, sir. I said, you said a nickname. Now you're saying a government name, somebody name that I know that have relieved me from my post before. You know? And then he argued it out to his partner, had to tell him that you did. You said a nickname first, and now you're saying a government name. She had to correct him because he was going off.
Damn.
So whatever that charge was, you knew though that it was a big deal and it was a lot of time at that point?
I knew it was a big deal for sure.
Okay.
You know, but I don't know. I just stood my grounds.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah, because I'm thinking more along the lines of like, you get popped for whatever, serving or whatever. They give you 3.5. You're about to go home. You start hitting everybody up, giving the TV away.
I ain't hit nobody up. I just hit my kids.
Oh,
up.
you hit the
The only one person
yeah.
people I wanted to
Which
see,
is the way
like,
it should be done. You know?
man, I want to see my kids. You feel me? Like, we stayed corresponding the whole time. Like, I practically raised them while I was locked up. Like, I was on my kid's dad. Like, been no another woman tell my daughter none, because you know my youngest daughter gonna tell me everything in detail and everything. So you better keep it right. And yeah, he did that. Like, I had one incident, and that one incident, he cleared it up real good and never happened again. Like, and then my daughter didn't speak to that chick for like 2 years. I was like, these kids, they hold grudges. Like, they ain't playing with their mom. You feel me? Real stuff. They was not playing about me. Yeah. So.
No, that's lovely. That's lovely. Yeah, because I'm telling you, I'm thinking along the like, damn, you about to get out. Then they hit you with this bullshit.
Yeah.
You still don't know what it is, but you know it's something crazy.
Yeah, my left eye started twitching when it got close to me to get out, so I knew it was coming. You know.
You knew what was coming.
I knew the court date was coming.
Really?
Yeah, it got close to me getting out. I think I want to say it was like a week or two before. I want to say the last week or something like that. I was getting ready to get out. and that ducket came under the door saying, "Take out your braids, no braids," like.
Said ducket?
Out to court ducket. You get that slide under your cell door. It's like wham, like a slap in the face.
So real quick, you want to explain what a
Yeah,
ducket
a
is?
ducket. I need some clarification.
Yeah, a ducket is anything where from you to go across the prison to medical to the infirmary, a ducket to go to class.
It's like a hall pass.
Like a hall
A
pass,
ducket to get transferred out the court because you gotta go behind work change to walk to R&R. To get to R&R where they change you out in some different clothes or moo dress, and you get on the bus
dress.
in
What
shackles.
is that? I never heard that. What's a muumuu
muumuu
dress?
dress.
Muumuu is a polka dot. What is another name for muumuu?
So that's what the ladies get when they get released?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Like
I mean,
polka dot
well,
stuff?
now they changed it. Like you have a choice whether you want to wear a muumuu or like AR clothes, orange,
Okay.
the oranges. And all that came when transgenders and all that stuff came around and stuff. So they give you that respect to let you choose what you want to wear.
Okay. Damn. We'll definitely
Yeah.
touch on that. I didn't have no idea that was
Yeah, they
I
do
didn't
that
even know
now.
that.
Because my choice was shirt and pants, and that's what they let me parole in. Like, if you pick up a dress, that's what you want. She like, what's your size? She already knew. I didn't want to put on no dress because she asked me, Mom, what's your size? I'm like, yeah, 1X. Yep, so.
Damn, and you get hit with that fucking ducket, huh?
Man, I get hit with the ducket, so I'm like, damn. But, I was like, man, I knew it was coming. I was like, but whatever, I got to go fight this battle. Only God got me on this one.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I went out to county and got booked in.
Oh, because you start basically all over from scratch.
Yeah, I went to prison. They transferred me to the county. I got booked in for a 187, 25 to life sentence at that time.
187 is a what?
Murder.
Whoa, what? I didn't even know what 187 is.
Really?
Yeah, I
You
swear
ever
I
seen the
did.
movie?
Yeah.
What movie?
Samuel Jackson, 187. That's crazy.
Are you serious? This is a
We
movie?
got to season him a little bit. You know?
Right. He gonna be learning a lot doing these podcasts.
It was less than, if it was like past 2000s, I don't know shit. I'll tell you right now.
Right.
Yeah,
Jinx.
no, dude,
Yeah.
yeah.
This guy. So you really didn't get any time in between. You really just got hit back to back like
Yeah, I
that.
didn't get no time in between. That's why when I say I got locked up at 2005 because I never see the day of light again after that. You feel me?
So it was what to life? How?
It
Remind
was
me?
25 to life.
25 to
what
life.
they was what they booked me under.
Gotcha. Okay, so you go into county now.
That's what I was fighting. As far as them, before I even hit any court.
Right.
That was the time.
So now you get a new beef. What happens during your? We can fast forward a little bit. What happens during your prelim? Because I'm assuming that was one of the big key things in your case.
Oh, it was a lot going on. There was a lot going on in county. And it was just so much going on. Like, I guess these witnesses was coming out of nowhere.
Damn.
I was in a pod where that's where I started my mentoring. There was a lot of kids from different areas, from 60 Cribs, from Brims, from Broadway. It was just so many different gangs up in there. And I actually took them under my wing. And we started going to do our little prayer circle out in the rec yard, drinking coffee together. I started telling them to take classes together. We started going to computer classes, art classes, and stuff like that. And staying focused up in there. And I had to talk with them about, what I was going through.
Yeah.
I was like, I never been in this situation before, but I'm fighting life, And I was like, what you looking at? I asked each and every one of them. We have a circle. What you looking at? How much time you looking at? Oh, a year. And I was like, what about you? You don't know? Okay. What they talking about? Double digits? Wow. I'm like, okay, but all the people I gravitated to that had short time, like a year, county year led, or 6 months, or whatever the case may be. And I told them, like, you guys got a chance to go out there and turn your life around. And I was like, for me, the set was a curse. Every time I went back, something happened. This time I went back, I was living with my mama. My mama gonna stay in the set. So I gravitated back to selling drugs because I was doing good. I was living out in Rialto, San Bernardino County.
Oh shit. Okay.
I had a job, had a car, had an apartment. 2-bedroom apartment. My kids had their own room. I had a girlfriend living with me. Stuff started going downhill after 3.5, almost 4-year relationship. Me and her fell out. She kind of helped me raise my kids and stuff. So she like, they gone, mom, we fell out and shit got hectic there. I felt like my downfall is when I'm handling a situation that's like that, and it drives me back to want to sell drugs because that makes me feel calm.
Yeah.
Like somebody have an addiction, like, okay, they going through something with their spouse or something, they run to alcohol or drugs. My thing was back to hustling. That was soothing me and made me feel better. Mm-hmm. That was my addiction.
That's what you knew.
That's what I knew, and that's what I, even though I stopped doing it for a while, it's still there. Like, like immediately when I went out, I'm like, let me walk around the corner because I knew some hustlers, Hey, what can I get a woo? All right, you can help me? All right. Go get it. And I see smokers around like, hey, I got that shit. Good shit. So holler at me. When they see me, I was like, never knock on my door. My family's there. Never come to my door. If you see me outside, it's all good. And that's how I started back. Mm-hmm. Selling drugs and shit, in there though, when they were listening to me, they were looking up to me, So like when static came, if nobody was joining our circle and they was on the outside trying to be negative, or if they got into it with anybody, I took all their fades.
So in Linwood, I'm assuming, right? Had it been Linwood?
Yeah.
Or no? Or
Yep.
was this in Dino?
Linwood.
Okay, Linwood. You got to run fades. You got to do all that.
Yep.
Same program, same get down. So you're saying you had the healing circles going on. You had all these things, and I'm assuming that they looked up to you because you were there from prison. You're coming down.
I was there from prison, but I also was trying to, guide them in a different directions. Good. Because okay. I didn't want to see them coming back. Because some people in my circles, they were fighting, big time, like 33 years, 10 years. It was anywhere from 10 years and up, Okay. And some of those times, some of them numbers had L's on them, so that they were fighting, Some was way up in the digits, like 40, but, it came down, they brought it down, so.
So you're surrounded by a bunch of people that were serving some real time.
Yeah.
And you yourself were serving some real time.
And a lot of them was babies.
One thing I want to bring up was your experience with one girl you talked to me about, where you talked to her, you asked her, or you give her like a talk, like a pep talk, like, hey, like, it's not worth it, etc. Mm-hmm. You end up seeing her again later on.
Oh, yeah. Right? My little homegirl, Suave. But,
Suave?
No, her name not Suave. It's something like high, but like, mm-hmm. Yeah, that's
fire though.
Yeah,
yeah.
I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, she mixed, she Mexican and black, Mm-hmm. But yeah, she, me and her was close. Like she was a part of that mentor, and she was mentoring with me, But I also was mentoring her because we was from the same era, we was from the same set, just different streets. But she, was having that same downfall. She go back to the set, something happened, she go to jail, So I told her, she had a girlfriend and stuff. I'm like, once you get your girlfriend, move out, once y'all get some jobs, move into an apartment together and live life. Like, I know, you got a parent that live over there or whatever, just try to do something different because, every time we go back, something happened. And the more we keep coming back to jail, the higher the time it's going to get. And I was like, we might not even make it. You might wind up shot dead somewhere. You never know. Like, anything can happen. Like, so I was like, man, I'm telling you, I don't want to see you in here no more. Do the best you can out there and just keep going, experience things you never experienced before. Go travel, go do something. Like, you got a girlfriend, I do shit together, you know? But I seen her a few years later. Well,
Upstate?
yeah, she came to prison. She got out, did good for a while, but she came to prison. I seen her, I'm like, whoa.
Damn.
What happened, man? Like,
Yeah.
why you here? But unfortunately, when she came, she didn't really have that much time. She had a few months to do in prison, and she was going to be out. And she was like, I know. I said, let me just ask you one thing. What happened? How you get here? She said, I went back. I said, I told you, it's a curse.
That's the answer right there.
Yeah, she said she went back. So, you know, all I could do is like, you know, I said, well, you know what we used to do all the time? And she was like, yeah, I've been praying, you know. I've been on my toes, you know. And she had one incident up there, you know. And after that, it was cool. She went home, and I ain't seen her again or heard from her. So I assume she's doing
good
good.
thing.
Yeah, it was a good thing.
Shout out to whoever it is.
Yeah,
Hopefully she sees us
yeah.
like, yo, that's Lorisa. What the fuck?
Yeah,
You know, that'd
she
be
probably
crazy.
gonna say LowKey though.
That's LowKey. Lorisa, I'm sorry.
Right.
That so going through this time, like, you know, you're in there, you're already like with Tristan, you're already mentoring, you're already trying to help individuals out. Now when you get into that, when you're doing your time, what kind of experiences are you having? Like, where's your mental health at, especially knowing that you got your kids on the outside?
Wow, that's a good question. My mental health was screwed up, but in front of them, I held it together. But my mind was so fucked up, dude. Like, I didn't know what to do. The only thing I knew was just to turn to God, because that's the only thing that could help me in my situation. So at times, like, you know how, like, you just think so much, like, your mind's spinning and it's just anxieties, you know? So I couldn't handle it. Like, I felt like I was going nuts. But, like, you know, like, the only thing I couldn't change in front of them was, like, my facial expressions. Like, that's a gene thing. Like, whatever I'm feeling, my face gonna show it, you know? And I'll try to change my face if somebody recognizes it or whatever, you know? But it's too late. But I had to get on psych meds. I couldn't handle it.
Wow, was that to that point?
Couldn't handle it. It was just to a point where I couldn't sleep at night. Like, I was constantly thinking, and it was a lot of stuff going on in there. And then all of a sudden, this Mexican cop, I can't remember his name, start with an A. I want to say Alvaro or something. But he came, and he was like known. Everybody knew him. And he came, and he was like, I need you. I got a band to put on you. I'm like, what? And we already know that he come with the K bands, the K10 bands, and K2 bands, and all that. That
When you say
mean
bands, like, I'm thinking
that
like,
mean
like
Wristband.
like keep away.
what?
Like, you got to be a keep away from another inmate. So I'm like, what the fuck? Like, what I need a band for? I said, man, I've been in this pot almost going on a year, and you want to put a band on me? I said, I've been doing good, Mr. Alvaro. He was like, it ain't you. He said, you starting to get too many witnesses up in here. I'm like, what? He was like, you got one next door in the pod next door. You got one on the other side, because it's 3,800 and 3,700. You got one on 36 and 3,500 side. I'm like, what? He was like, yeah. He was like, so for your own safety, we have to move you. And I did not want to move. And I'm like, man, I'm used to the deputies over here. I'm used to the inmates. And I'm like, you know, a lot of my people had got out. Some of them were still in there, you know. So I'm like, fuck. Like, I was mad because first they came the day before or 2 days before. They came and got this girl who we always used to have our visits together. Her parents and mom come with her son. My kid's father come with my two daughters, you know. And we always sat right next to each other. So it's kind of like having our visits together, even though she doing her own thing, I'm doing my own thing. But we also went on the visit same day, same time. They took her first. And she was fighting a big sentence too. So when they took her, we was like tripped out, like, you know, what happened? Why they take her? They didn't come for me. I'm like, damn, like, what the hell? I was like, so where I'm going? Where you transferring me to? He said, you going to a pod where they can keep more, you know,
eyes on you?
eyes on me? And he was like, yeah, but it's also a safety thing. I said, so where I'm going? He was like, to the high power floor. I'm like, to the high
I was gonna
power
say,
floor?
It has to be high power.
I'm like, what? I said, so I'm only going to program 23 hours a day?
Hold on. What's the high power for?
I'm like,
So-
I'm not
so
going to be able to program
It's
for 23
wristbands,
hours a day.
basically.
But guess what? He said, nah, you're going to be still in blues. You're going to get your
Oh,
program.
okay, that's good.
So it was a floor.
we'll
It was a
explain that,
floor. It was a floor. It was a pod on that floor, on the high power floor, just one pod, and it was a small pod, and it was with we still had our blues on. It was like a regular dorm, like regular GP, but we was just up there. And then
no
all the
oranges, no
other
nothing.
pods around us was surrounded with people with orange on.
Orange.
So I used to be like, damn. So we used to slide books, different books under the door. We used to swap out books, swap out magazines and stuff like that, and like correspond with each other a little bit, shoot letters, and I didn't do none of that kite stuff, but I did the book things and the magazine things.
You said kite?
Yeah, kite like a note, like people they call them kites up in there. You used to fold it like a little kite or whatever and slide it under the door,
Like your conversations, like, hey,
back and forth.
Can be anything. Yeah.
and it's like, hey, how you doing? Good. Pass back.
Yeah.
Okay.
But just to touch on this whole bracelet thing, basically
Yeah.
you're categorized when you go in there. If you fight someone, that's basically, if they catch you, that's considered your enemy. So he's gonna wear a certain band color. You're gonna wear a certain band color. Your little wristband. So basically the way they keep track of you, they give you this band, plastic band with the barcode that you can't take off. So they have count time, they have whatever, right? Then they walk by and they fucking scan your ass, and now you're good. So they can't scan someone that you got into a fight with. So they're your keepaways. It's classifications basically.
This is trippy because this is a whole nother level of classification I have never heard of thus far.
Yeah. So Lorisa end up having to go high power, being her case may be a little crazy, murders, or it could
All
be
the witnesses.
Witnesses. It could be a lot of things, right? So then they kind of try to keep you away from everybody else, and then they put you in oranges. That's normally the sign for at least the males. And then like powder blues would be for people with mental health issues. And then you have browns, people with medical issues that got bit by the dog. It goes on and on and on.
So you had powder blues?
No,
I had
so
dark
you had
blues.
mental health. Yeah, she had regular blues.
Okay, whoa. I apologize. I'm like, so you had blues. I'm
Dark
assuming.
blues, which is regular GP shit. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that's a lot. Okay, so you're confused then. You're confused at this time when you
I
got
was
in.
confused,
You
but when I
were-
got up there, I got used to it. I mean, the pod was really very smaller than the one I came from, and I think they had about probably about 8 cells or 10 cells in there. It was very small.
A lot of that was still cell living.
Yeah, it was still cell living. I was single celled. Because it wasn't very many. But I ran into an old girl that they took before. So that was cool. I was down there with somebody I knew. I guess I wind up protecting this pregnant girl from MS because all these other Mexican girls wanted to jump her. But being the fact that she was pregnant, I was like, nah, that's not going to happen.
So that kind of that happens like because that's a whole new like.
They were waiting for her to come out that cell. And she was upstairs like at the end. And
You think you get a pass for being pregnant?
I
no?
would assume so too.
Nah,
I'm
she
not
wasn't
gonna
getting
lie.
no pass.
No pass.
At all. I had to intervene in that because they look at me in like a respect for him. So I told them like, I'm not gonna let y'all do that to her. This girl got a life in her body. Like trying to get more time.
That should take some fucking courage.
That's murder and attempted murder right there with somebody carrying a baby. Period.
That is.
You fight them, it's a wrap.
That's nuts.
That's
You would
true.
think they go to their own pod. Pregnant girls, no?
Nah, they house with us. They just get special meals.
Okay.
That is interesting, and I think that makes sense. At least what you mentioned, they would go to their own pod and they got their own thing going on or whatever.
Just pregnant. Yeah.
Yeah.
Shit. So take us to basically the day that you got sentenced. What happens then? How'd you know that this was coming to an end and you were about to get hit with your time?
Oh, wow. Well, the day I got sentenced, I thought I was getting sentenced to 11 years for voluntary manslaughter.
Because they offered that deal or something?
That was the deal.
That was the deal. Okay.
So I'm in a holding tank waiting, to go get sentenced. And then the lawyer comes to the cell and he tells me that the judge want to talk to me. So I'm like, why do the judge want to talk to me? So he was like, you still have your deal, but, something else came up.
Oh my God.
So the judge was like, you're going to get the deal the DA has on the table is 11 years for voluntary manslaughter, but you're also going to get a 10-year gun enhancement. So you'll get a total of 21 years. And then he said, with 85%, he said, you'll get out and still have a life for yourself.
Yeah, right.
He was like, so that's what I was getting sentenced to. So called me in court an hour later. I was just crying because I didn't know what to do, but I said, I guess this is the blessing that God gave me because I prayed that I didn't get a life sentence, and here I am with 85%.
That part.
So I said, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and take this shit, and I was ready to go upstate. I was sick of the county already. Just closed in. I got up to 206 pounds. I was just big, and I needed to walk, exercise, do all that, and just move around. So I went into court. The deceased girl mother was there. And, right before I got sentenced, she asked the judge if she could speak her piece to me. The judge called the lawyer, and the lawyer was like, I don't know, I don't want my client. And judge asked me, are you okay with Miss Williams speaking with you? And I said, yes. And my lawyer's next to me on some negative stuff, talking about, you don't have to look at her. You don't have to talk to her if you don't want to talk to her. Like, he's saying all this way out stuff. And I'm just looking at the lady, because I'm trying to hear what the lady got to say. So the lady told me, she was like, I've been praying for you. She was like, and I want you to know I forgive you for taking my only child. And she said, I pray that you go to prison and you find God. And she was like, because the things that you're doing out here, whatever you was doing, or I don't know if you took other lives, but she said that's like a walking dead person or something. She was like, so I just want you to know that I forgive you for taking my only child, and I hope you find God when you go to prison. And that's what she told me straight up.
Damn, that's deep as hell.
Yeah. Nah, it's deep as shit,
how do you
bro.
even take that in? Even thinking about putting yourself in the parent's shoes and
Yeah, it
I
took
don't know.
me.
It's just deep. It's hella deep.
Yeah, it took me a long time to forgive myself, even though she forgave me.
Right.
I mean, I thought I would never forgive my own self, you feel me? But it took me a long time, Like, I couldn't believe it. Like, how could she forgive me, Her only child, But I wind up telling this story in prison, and I was going through some stuff in there because I could not forgive myself. And they said that I wasn't going to find peace until I did, So it eventually happened, but it didn't happen till like the end of my time when I got close to getting out. All the years I had never forgave myself doing all that time. But when it got close to me getting out, and I joined a woman advisory council, and I started have to be. Now I'm not just a mentor for a group of people. I'm a voice for the whole MA population. So they're counting on me, and it's only my whole team. It was just 6 of us that, I have to be a voice for the whole prison. So I really had to change my perspectives on a lot of things, and I had to be open with a lot of people. Whether it didn't matter what they was, EOP. You had to have patience for these people, and that's basically what I did.
When you say MA population, what does that mean?
The whole prison population.
Really?
Yes.
Dang, that's a lot of.
Not no units, not no, cells, certain cells, the whole population.
The whole population.
The whole population.
So after the mom of the victim speaks, do you feel like that helped you or not during the sentencing?
No, at that time I still was in my emotions.
It was a done
about
deal?
the time. Yeah, I was just in my emotions. Like, I accept what she said, and to be honest with you, I was in my emotions about the time. Like,
Yeah,
I know
yeah.
she said what she
It's a lot
said,
going on.
Yeah.
And it was a lot going on, but my emotions was still at the time because at that time I'm like thinking like, dang, this is how long I'm gonna be away from my daughters, you know, like so I was somewhere else.
Another world.
So they said,
Like,
what
but I
the judge
did.
say?
I was there. I did listen to what she said, and I heard her, and I can hear her. I can hear them words. I can hear them over and over. Like I can hear her saying that. I can see her face, all the stuff. But I was in my emotion about my time. Right, I was just thinking like, dang, I'm gonna be locked up for this long. I'm not gonna see my kids for this long. Like, you know, what prison they gonna send me to? Because if I'm going to Chilla, like I know my family ain't driving that far. Like, you know, I'm thinking like I'm gonna have to figure out how I'm gonna get closer, you know, to home so I can get these visits from my family. Like, I'm already thinking about going in, running a positive program, you know, like people get time, all this time and stuff, they go in, right, don't give a damn, like they want to fight, like they don't care or give a fuck about nothing. So it's like they coming in swinging. Like, you know, me, I went in humble, but I didn't turn nothing down. I didn't turn no face down. I went in there humble. At first, I didn't care about, you know, fighting or whatever, but then I started peeping things out, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to start turning down face in front of the police. If somebody want to fight me in front of the police, they don't want to slide to the side, then they a coward. You know, so I was like, you know, I'm not into getting in trouble, catching no 115s. I'm trying to go home. So if you don't want to slide to the back and we can get down in the back, you talking about getting down right here in front of these cops, then I'm going to walk away from it. That's when I started to grow. You know, I really started to grow because, you know, you don't turn down nothing, you know. But I'm going to turn down these because I'm not getting no write-up from nobody.
Yeah.
You know, I'm trying to go home. I'm not trying, because when you get a write-up, you get extra time at a time. Because I did get about 250 extra days added just from catching 115s fighting and stuff. You know, because if somebody take off on you in front of the cops,
What do you do?
you ain't got nothing to lose. And that happened to me a couple times. And I'm not finna let nobody just take off on me. So.
Isn't it frowned upon to take off in front of the cop, though?
Yeah, a girl took off on me and missed, but I was already there. So, you know, so it was too late. Like, I was already running up on her. You know, so.
But you know what? I'm so happy to hear that you knew, because you already had just finished a bid, technically, didn't go home, but you already kind of knew the mindset that you needed to have with this new sentence in order to get the fuck out sooner rather than
people
later.
was tripping off of me. They was like, you doing your time like you don't have a lot of time. You know, some people go in there, they turn bitter, they turn ugly and, you know, aggressive. I still was humble. You feel me?
Right.
I still had peace. You feel me? Like, just the fact that God answered my prayers. Yeah, I got a lot of time, but guess what? I asked that man not to give me life, and he didn't. You feel me? So that was a deal that I made with God. So I was just stuck on the deal, like, okay, like, he gave me this deal to do this 21 years, and this is a deal between me and God, and this is how I'm going to do it.
21. 85?
85%.
85%.
I did 17 off of it. Yep.
17 years. When and so how did you stay?
This is 17 included with the first one.
The first one.
Yeah, 17 years I was in there.
Which still is like fucking, you didn't get out at any point in time. So
Right.
It's like,
No.
you know,
It's
17
consecutive
years.
at that point, right?
17 fucking years. So when you get up there, you already carry yourself a little different, and you're already up on game a little bit. You've been schooled
Pretty
a little
much
bit, or
when you
know
get to
the deal.
prison, them people already up on game about you before you get there. So
Way.
nobody approached me. People said I looked mean, but a lot of people knew, like, you know, once they got to know me, like, oh, she cool as fuck, you know.
Okay.
But, you know, people were scared to approach me. Once they did and they got to know me, I was like, oh, you look mean. But then when you get to know you, like, cool as fuck, you know. Like, I basically just, I stayed low-key. I stayed to myself, you know. I didn't hang out. People hang out in groups and crowds. I didn't do none of that. You know, I got me a girlfriend, shacked up, and even when my homegirls came through there, I didn't even hang with them too much. I might go out and be with them out there for like 20 minutes or so, and I'm back in with my girl. And it was just me, whoever I was dating, it was just me and that person. And that's how I did my time. Like, I'm not with none of that group stuff, but if somebody needed that and they wanted that, you know, they can get it. Like, you know, I'll get down with them, like, in a heartbeat.
That's a
Question.
good way to do your time. Yeah.
What's it like having a relationship in prison?
It's
I know. Is it
I'm
forever?
curious.
Is it forever? Is it like a weekend? You know? I don't know.
No. I mean, when I was in a relationship, my first relationship was 2 years. 2 years, and the girl got out, you know.
How you feel when she's leaving? Like, what's going through your mind?
I mean, it's a hurtful feeling because you know you're used to this person and now that person ain't gonna be there. You feel me? So it's something like you used to getting just out of nowhere. She's gone. So you just gotta get through that. Like and the way I got through that is by phone calls and letters and she sent me money or whatever, packages or whatever, you know. But we stayed in contact for a whole year, and after that whole year, I was like, spread your wings and fly. You know, I still got time to do. Go do you. But she showed me that loyalty after she got out. She showed me that loyalty for a year, and I was good with that.
That's what's up.
You know?
How are you romantic in prison? Like, y'all ain't got no candles, you don't have like, rose petals, anything like that. So I'm curious to know, and this is genuine because I'm interested in
hit me
like,
with a package, huh?
Like, like here's an extra couple noodles, like
No, up in there, like. Don't get it twisted. Up in prison, we can cook. You feel me? We cook food. You know what I'm saying? So, she share her love through food. We lay up, watch movies together. We go on walks together. Go to like groups together, whatever. That's what we did. Like, we did quality that time. Together. Quality time. You call that quality time. You can. You go out to the main yard, put out a little tarp, like we having a little picnic. Lay out there in the grass.
Oh shit, Lorisa, you got some game on you. Okay. She over here doing picnics. Fuck. Or Lorisa, yep. I'm so sorry. I didn't get used to that. Yo, that's wild though. Like that's interesting because obviously you can't do that. Like, did you see that when you were incarcerated beforehand? Like, no, you didn't see that. Like,
no. They actually have their own yards, that population.
Okay.
It is what it is, but
I didn't even know that.
We have our own yards too, but we got one big yard for all the small yards. It's called the main yard.
The main yard.
Yeah.
So the different buildings go out to that. Everybody sees
you can go out to the main yard. In the main yard, you get to see people from other yards that don't live on your yards. And then, or you can just stay on your little yard and hang with people on your little yard, because on the little yard, they got like 4 dorms, like 4 units. There's the 4 units with 4 halls of rooms.
This is at Chowchilla?
I was at Chowchilla doing my A yard on Chowchilla, and then I went to Valley State Prison.
And that's another women's prison?
Yeah, right across the street from, not too far from Chowchilla, yeah.
Because for some reason, like on the male side, all you ever hear is Chowchilla. You don't hear any other women's prison other than maybe CIW.
Yeah, because the Chowchilla is more of a down south. It's like from south, like from LA, like a lot of people from that area in that prison. And then Valley State Prison was from the north.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? You got all the Bay Area people in that prison and stuff like that.
Everything.
Like, yeah.
Okay.
So it's a little mixed up and stuff, but you have more of them people. You know what I'm saying? And then if you think about it, when it comes to like gangs, they was more at Chowchilla. When it comes to drugs, it was more at Valley State Prison. Yeah.
That's interesting. I never would have thought. I didn't even know there was a prison named Valley.
I knew if I stay over here with the gangs, because I had homegirls that had a whole yard set up, sold up, and I could hear all the stuff going on. I was like, you know what? I'm not trying to go over there with them because I'm going home. Like, I'm not supposed to be over here getting extra time. I'm not about to max out, none of that stuff. So I asked that lieutenant to send me to Valley State Prison. I want to go over here where I don't know nobody at. So that's what I did.
Damn. Okay, so you went up north. How many years did you have in at that time?
Shoot, I didn't have no years in. I did almost 10 months on AR because I had a lot of time. They made me stay over there like 8 months, I guess.
Damn.
On AR, so I did that, and then when it was time for me to choose if I wanted to stay there or go somewhere else, I chose Valley State Prison because I believed they wasn't gonna let me go to CIW. Because I had too much time. So I went for Valley State Prison. I said, from Valley State Prison, then I'm going to try to get down south and go to CIW.
Gotcha.
And that was the plan. That's what happened.
That's what happened. During that whole time, did you start thinking about, knowing that you didn't have an L, did you start preparing yourself to come out with the coastline, Palos Verdes College, the whole,
My thing is they wanted me to do a lot of like groups and stuff like that. So when I got to Valley State Prison, I dealt with a lot of backlashes because of my case. So I tried to get in some groups down there. Them lifers wasn't having it.
The lifers weren't having it?
Why were they not having it? Out of curiosity.
I would go to group the first night. The next night I go, my name ain't on the list. And lifers was doing that.
But because you were so fresh and they didn't believe that you were.
I
in
was
it to
so
win it?
fresh, and they knew the girl in my case
okay.
because she
Got
was
you.
like,
Oh my
she was a type of person that was in and out of prison, and I didn't know. This
they
was
had
my
a
first time,
reputation,
so yeah,
person
she
had
had
a
a reputation, a big reputation, and everybody knew her, stuff like that. So people was feeling kind of salty towards me.
Yeah.
If that's the case, and I'm sorry, but if that's the case, you weren't getting any kind of attraction in regards to like violent attraction, like people were trying to come at you?
Oh yeah, I was getting death threats. Kite slide under the door, come out to the main yard. We gonna lock you, sock you, razor blade you, all of that.
Damn.
So my homegirls try to have a meeting, and I got my own mind. So when they say they're having a meeting, I'm not knowing it's about me. So when we go over there, I kind of be stuck. When I find out about me, it kind of pissed me off. You know? Oh, they talking about they want to get at you, like you gon' these people they talking about are two girls that testified on my case.
Whoa.
So I went through all this county time and ran up into them. They got even locked up in my pod, in a holding tank with me on the way going to court sometimes. They would beat on the door, call the police, tell the police that they was in there with me. They wasn't supposed to be in there with me because they were a witness against me. And it was just crazy. And I couldn't believe they were saying all this stuff. Like, I had no intention on touching these people. And I'm not fenced to fight you or none of that because I'm in court. I'm about to go to trial. I'm not fenced to be going to the hole and going to court with whole clothes on. And I got to appear in front of the judge like that. And the judge know everything that go on with you while you incarcerated. So if you get in trouble, he already know before you come to court, and that look bad on you, and I'm getting ready to go to trial. So I'm like, I'm sitting in a corner. I guess her friends are trying to tell her, like, because she was talking about me in the case, and I was just sitting there with my legs crossed, and they, like, kind of tell her, like, she back there, Finally, when the girl turned around and looked, her eyes got so big, and she ran straight to the door, started beating on the door. Police came, took her out of there or whatever. But I'm like, we had all these encounters where I didn't do nothing to y'all when we was in the county. So what makes you think I'm gonna come to prison and do something to you? I'm not gonna do nothing to you here. Either go and live your life, but I opened up that door for them. If you feel that you need to get down with me, you can get down because I believe I would do that if somebody took my homegirl or, for me or whatever. Every time I see you, it's on sight, But unfortunately, she tried to gather this entourage, had them sending me death threats, had me sending me kites, and when you come out, they had this meeting. I said, I don't care what none of y'all talking about. I'm in here on my own number. I'm doing my own time. I already have to listen to what they tell me to do, when to wake up, when to eat. I don't need y'all telling me shit. I said, I'm an army by myself. I said, if they want to see me, I said, half of these bitches live on this yard. They walk past me every day. So when they see me, it's going to be on my time, not their time. They want me to come out there right now. I'm not going to come out there right now. I'm going to come out there on my own time, and I hope they be ready.
Damn.
Finally went out there by myself. And when I went out there, I'm looking around for the people who started this commotion. I walk up to the first girl, the one that beat on the door and was in the county. She really tall. And I walk up to her, and I'm like, you talking all that shit and having these people sending me death threats. What's up now? I'm right here. I put up my pants and squared off on her like, you need that? You want that? You need that? I'm like, what's happening? And she was just standing there like she didn't want to fight. And I was scanning the yard. I looked around. I seen the other girl on the track walking around. So I walked out there, pulled my pants up a little bit more, and I'm like, she stopped, like, probably from this wall, and I was probably where that wall at. So she started tying up her shoes and stuff. She had real long dreads. She started wrapping it up. And when she walked down by me some, I said, what's up? You need that? And then she was like shaking her head, like she wasn't really responding. And then she was like, can I just ask you one question? I was like, you want to ask me a question or you need that? Like, what's happening? Like, I ain't here to waste my time. And then she was like, I didn't even come to court on you when you was getting ready, when you got your hung jury and you was about to take your case back to trial. She was like, I didn't come to court on you for a reason. Like I ain't trying to have no drama with you, but I just want to ask one question. And I was like, what? She was like, did you know her? I was like, did I know who? She was like, the girl in your case. I'm like, no, I didn't know her. And then when she just started walking, and when she started walking, she just screamed, ah! Like she just screamed.
Like
And
for
so,
no reason, like
just out of
yell,
nowhere,
like,
she just screamed
cry for
like from
help
the top
kinda
of her
scream.
lungs. Like she was like this, like she just started screaming. So
Was she someone to this girl or something like that?
yeah, they were close. They're all friends. Like the first one I walked up to, they were all together that night. That had happened. Except the one with the dress, she had walked around the corner, like somewhere, walking some girls to their car. But
So you walk,
The irony that you guys land together.
Right.
Jesus, you know.
yeah.
so you walked up to the first one because she.
Well, they
tried
tried to. The first one, she tried to do some police stuff on me when we was on AR, and then she tried to do it again at VSP because she had the detective sent to my door, woke me up out of my sleep, had me come down to the little food table, sit right there, talk to him. He was like, "Okay." He was like, "So what are you here for?" That instantly irritated me because I'm in prison. So how do a detective come wake you up out your sleep in the cell, bring you downstairs to the table, and say, "What are you here for?" You already know my whole rundown. Like, come on, sir.
For real. What the
I'm like, come on, sir. Don't play these games with me. I'm like, whatever you brought me down here, you woke me up out of my sleep, whatever you called me down here for, just shoot it to me straight. Because I'm like, I already know that you know what I'm in here for. I'm in prison. Come on, man. So he like, okay, so you just got done fighting the case. And then he was like, you know you got a witness here, right? I said, yeah, I know she here. Her name is Lorena Watson. I was like, what's the problem, though? And he was like, so she feel like you're going to try to harm her. I said, I said, look, sir, let me tell you something. I just came to prison. All I'm trying to do is start my time and do my time. That's all I want to do. I'm not worried about that girl. If I was worried about that girl, I could have got her when we was in the county so many times. I said, I'm not worried about her. I don't got no beef with her, none of that stuff. Like, you know, she testified, did what she did. I got my time. I'm in here, and this is what I'm trying to do. I'm not worried about her. He said, so are you willing to sign a non-enemy chronicles? I was like, yes, sir. He brought it to me an hour later. I seen that her name was on there, but she hadn't signed yet, so I signed it, whatever. Got shipped to VSP. 2 months after I was there, she tried to pull the same thing on me. Like, after that whole little scenery on when I went out there to the yard and confronted her, embarrassed her or whatever, my counselor called me. And my counselor said, we got to do an emergency transfer review on you.
Oh man.
You know, that means shipped to another prison. So I'm like,
That's because
what?
that's because they're worried of what you're gonna do, or
Whatever she told them.
Yeah.
So whatever she told him, he was like, do you know, he was like, a person came and said that, you know, they told us X, Y, Z, and we looked up your case, and they pretty much nailed it down.
it makes sense.
Like it makes sense. Like, we believe this person. So I was like, sir, I just went through the same thing on AR. I said, so if you look deeper into my C file, you'll see that me and this girl have a non-enemy chrono. So how can you have me emergency transfer review on me and ship me to another prison when she signed? Because I signed, so I know she signed. Because if she didn't sign, one of us would have got shipped at that other prison, and it didn't happen. She was still there until she came over here, and I was still there until I came over here. Like, did I know she was coming this way?
Right.
No, I didn't.
All right.
You know, it's either you stay here or you go somewhere else. There's 2 other prisons that you can go to, which was Valley State Prison and the prison in Chino, which was California Institution for Women, CIW. So, yeah.
So you're literally just trying to fight like you're literally your freedom even within prison. Like you're still trying to fight like your innocence within the prison. Like trying to explain to the idea like, yo, like I'm just here to do my time. Like, that's it.
Yeah, I was humble, but you know, like if you came at me with the bullshit, then we
Right.
can get it cracking. Like that's
Right.
how it was with me. Like I ain't looking for nothing, but if it come to me, then we can handle it. You feel me? That's how I did my time. I didn't go looking for trouble, but if trouble try to come to me, I'm finna nip it in the bud real quick. And I already know, like, when I fight one person and I beat the shit out of them, it's like knocking 10 bitches down behind them.
Yeah.
Like, ain't nobody gonna fuck with you, period.
That part.
Did that ever die down? Did that end up dying
Yeah,
down
it died
sometime
down
in your
quick,
prison
and people started, like, respecting me or whatever because they seen how I carry myself in a different manner. You know, I always walked with my head high, never looked down on the ground. Like, I always gave people eye contact, you know. Always was cordial, spoke to people. I mean, even was cordial with the enemies. Didn't hang with them, nothing like that. But it was a respectable thing. Like you seen them, they spoke. I spoke back. Like hey, how you doing? And keep it moving. Like, that it was what it was.
Top of the morning, heading
Yep.
out, get on with your day.
Sometimes you in classes with these people. Sometimes,
Yeah.
they the one have to help you with
Right.
with whatever, because they're in that type of environment where they have to do that, like groups and stuff like that. Like they be the ones that teaching the
Right.
class sometimes.
So I want to kind of start touching now when you started getting released, because you didn't just get released. You went through a specific outlet.
Yeah.
Why, did
So
you have to go to board and all that too?
no, I didn't. Thank God, I did not have to do board, but I had to go to committee. Because before I went to the halfway house, I was trying to go to fire camp. I went through the whole fire camp training and moved units to the fire camp unit. And, them officers over there know that I've been down for a long time. So they was basically like, damn, like when I went to that fire camp unit, it was like being in the county all over again. It was way out to me. It was kind of like deja vu, but like, what the fuck? Like, oh my God, like it was trash everywhere. It's like
the county, right?
it was like the county. And then these girls everywhere, everybody talking. I'm like loud, and I'm like, wow. Now I got moved out of honor unit. I was in the honor unit. So it's nice and quiet. And
Honor
we
unit
have-
being like what?
I don't know.
An honor unit where you have your own mini canteen. You can go buy hot food. You can buy ice cream. You buy
What?
sodas.
Honor unit. Okay.
Yeah, we had our own like TV room, and then we had another lounge room in the back. And we had a day room in the front. So we had 3 areas we can go kick it at. We had movie nights. All that shit was cool. You go to mini canteen, it'd be open from a certain hour.
That's a
You can buy
vibe.
popcorn and eat your popcorn, watch some movies, and you do whatever you want. Like, shoot, they had hamburgers. You can buy hamburgers and throw them in the microwave. Yeah.
Tell them though,
It was like
Lorisa, as
frozen
good as that
food.
sounds though, you're still in prison.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're still in prison.
Well, it sounds good compared to the stories we've heard on
Definitely.
previous
No,
podcasts for sure.
Yeah,
That's
well, the honor
facts,
door
but-
kind of like, because you've been out of trouble, and only people go there. You got to be out of trouble for a certain amount of time and to
Yeah.
qualify. But you get a certification certificate thing. After you done completed 1 year, they get that. They put in your C file. Look good on you for being in the honor dorm. That look good on you. Like, say you go to committee, board, whatever. That's gonna look good on you because you took yourself out of a fast, bad environment and
Right.
put yourself over here.
Yeah.
Honor when you hear honor unit, you're doing something good.
Okay.
You feel me?
So you went through committee, and then from there, you what happened after that?
I went to committee and I was like, I was tripping because the CC3, he wasn't feeling me.
You heard that term before.
He wasn't feeling me at all.
See, I have heard that term. I'm not
But
gonna
then
ask.
we had the CC3, we had the captain, and we had the deputy chief warden there.
The big dogs, huh?
So this CC3, he wasn't feeling me. He was like, "You shot somebody, woo woo," and then the captain, he was just sitting there like quiet, but like just with a stone face. But I was tripped out because the deputy chief warden spoke up and he was like, "Well, yeah, she shot somebody. It ain't like she went down the boulevard blazing. Only one bullet came out that gun." And then he said, "I've been watching you over the years." And then he said, "And I love to see you go to our camp program, and I love to see you mentor some of them kids." The deputy chief warden said that.
Chief Ward.
That's interesting.
Yeah, I was like, wow, whoa. I couldn't believe it. Like, I had chills. And the captain was like, "Yeah, I agree." Because the CC3 did not want to send me. So the captain and the deputy chief warden is over him. They higher authority than him,
Yeah.
And deputy chief warden is higher than the captain. So I'm like, he like, "Yeah, I would love to see you go too." He said, "So I agree for you to go out, for you to get transferred out to camp." He said, "You've done some time and you've really gave back since you've been here, with you being on the advisory council, how you mentor. And then he said, you started your own group, right? And I was like, yeah. And he was like, what's the group you started? I said, I started an LGBTQ group. And he was like, you want to tell me why? I was like, because I wanted the LGBTQ people, because it seemed like, sometimes they get singled out and they didn't have a place to go to vent. So I wanted to start a self-help group where they can have a spot where they can go, sit and vent, talk about whatever they need to talk about. But I also wanted the transgender to be, educated, because there's a lot of girls here in prison. When you ask them, why do you get on the tretinoin shot, they say because they want to be strong, or they say because they want to grow facial hairs. I mean, they were saying like different things like that. To me, I felt like, maybe if I could have because I already had a talk with the chief of mental health, and he said he was willing to come to my class and speak, So, and I really wanted him to educate the transgenders on the tretinoin shot, because they was just diving into it. They was just jumping into it. Everybody wanted to be a man, So
The prison was offering all
it
that?
kind of backlashed it a little bit because the transgenders wasn't really feeling me, Because because I went around my whole group and I asked people, like, I wrote the letters LGBTQ on the board, and I just started asking everybody, like, what do you identify as? And then it got to the point where they asked me, and then when I said lesbian, all the transgenders got mad because they thought I was transgender the whole time.
Oh shit.
Yeah, so they wind up not wanting to come to the group. It's like, we're going to start our own group. And I said, that's fine. I did it. You can do it too. Ain't no
That's a
hate.
good way to go
It's
about
all
it.
love. Yeah, so.
That's really dope. Like the fact that you're able to do something like that.
Yeah.
And you stay positive even after that, even after people were still looking at you like in a,
Yeah, I
in a negative
did. I
manner.
mean, like, come on now. Like, I still had that
Right.
that mentality. Like, you ain't how you want it. Like, we slide to the back. Like, we sliding out of the eyesight. Like, I'm good. We can get down. But, like, if it's from the cops, I'm turning it down, walking away.
Larissa really sliding a lot. My boy.
No, you know what I think it is that at the end of the day, you're still in that place, so you gotta handle business sometimes. You gotta
No,
lay
it's
a
like,
demo,
yeah, I done
you
changed
know?
my life, and I done turned over because people see me turn over from a different leaf, because I was out there, a really hard thugging or whatever, doing my thing, because I was, like I said, I was in there hustling too. You feel me? So when I changed all that, once I turned cold turkey, I'm telling you, I had drugs. I gave them away for free. Some people say they still wanted to pay me. I would give the debts to my friends, like people that was just coming in that didn't really have nothing. I got rid of everything. I stopped everything cold turkey. The only thing that I didn't stop was I still have my cell phone, because that was like my lifeline. I could talk to my kids anything I want.
Right.
That's the only thing that I couldn't get rid of. But I stopped the drinking, smoking weed a little bit. I stopped all of that shit. Gave up the drugs, all the shit. Cold turkey, everything.
That's good.
And then I moved to a church unit. It was called Faith-Based Program, and I was in that program for a whole year. And then the program, the unit I was in that's when they turned it over to an honor dorm. So I was
were
there when
already
they,
in there, okay.
yeah.
Okay.
So
And
tell me if I'm wrong.
I qualified for it, so I stayed.
Tell me if I'm wrong. So she's saying now church-based unit. Are there units like that within, like different?
No, you just go to like the chapel. You go to church.
Right. And so this is a
It's not a
specific
unit.
location for church. That's interesting. Okay, so now let's talk about when you're getting released now. So you're getting released. What was that process like for you?
Whoa. Okay. So what happened was COVID came, right? So
COVID.
it shut everything
forget every
down. So that messed up my thing for camp. So I wind up signing up for the halfway house they call it CCTRP. So I signed up for one. They told me they had a new one. They had just built this up in LA, and I'm like, in LA? And I was like, because the one that was closer was Santa Fe Springs. But when they said they had one closer in Chinatown, I was like, ooh, I want to go to that one.
You're already thinking your
So,
kids. You're already thinking all this stuff,
Yeah, I'm
right?
like, the closer I am
Yeah.
to them, like, they can get to me or whatever. That's how I go. So, next thing you know, I go to the halfway house. The parole officer, the parole agent, she was cool. She told me the in and outs. She introduced me to the chef. She introduced me to the lady. She was like in a position like Mary.
Executive
Oh, like
director.
director
Yeah.
of that whole
Okay.
place.
Yeah, she was like that. So I met her, and then I met a lot of people that came out and helped me get my luggage out. But that little ride it was like a little shuttle like y'all's, but only thing I was shackled up. So
That's kind of crazy. It sounds crazy because you're coming to a place where they're gonna take them off anyways. Like,
right,
yeah.
right.
You're you know what I mean? Whatever.
Right,
I
but
can
yeah,
see that.
so I go in, they take them off, whatever. I stand against the wall, they take them off. But let me tell you the funny thing when they first put them on, before I left the prison, because I haven't wore these things in years since I, came in from another prison, And as soon as he put them on, I tried to walk. I forgot things was on my. I was more tripped and failed.
With the ankle,
no.
With the ankle ones too.
Oh, my
Yeah, I'm
God.
like, damn, hurt the hell out of my ankle. I was like, but yeah, I get there. Everybody's nice. So dinner was cool. They had served some tuna sandwiches and salad, chips, and some what you call that, broccoli soup on the side. Like, oh, they feed you
Broccoli
good
cheddar or
here.
what? Oh, that sounds fun right now.
Yeah, I was like, dang, they gave you healthy drinks and waters and stuff like that. So I was like, oh, this like a healthy spot or something. But like, yeah, so I ate, went outside, and I was the first person in that program to go outside. Like the parole agent took me outside and interviewed me outside. And it was other participants out there as well outside, but it was pretty cool. Like, she interviewed me out there. She introduced me to some of the girls out there, and it was interesting. And once they showed me where my room was, I was like in heaven. The bed was soft. I was like, no more racks, right? So I had the closet, Then we get to go to Walmart. I'm like, we get to go to Walmart? So it was cool. Like, I was able to buy me some stuff, blankets, extra pillows, and stuff like that.
Hey,
How'd you
tell me
feel?
going to the hygiene section wasn't the craziest thing?
Oh, yeah, that was the
You're like,
craziest thing. But
"Oh,
what happened? I came with so many hygienes from prison because when we was getting our boxes and stuff.
okay.
So I was already stocked up on hygienes and stuff. It was just like clothes, bedding, towels, and stuff like that I wanted for myself. Like the program, they supply for you, but I wanted my own different color stuff, It was cool.
That's
Not
interesting.
that bad, man.
So you even how'd you feel going into Walmart though? Were you feeling a little weird? Like
I was just looking
self-checkout
around.
and shit like that?
I was looking around. I just kept looking, and we all were masked up, and I was like, "Damn, this is the world."
right, you're
That has to
masked
be
up.
inside.
Everybody
It always
was
hits me
masked
because
up,
COVID,
so
man,
I
that
was tripped
another
out. I'm
world.
just watching everybody coming and going as they please. And as soon as we got in there, and then she said we could go shopping, it's just like it's just like I started doing it like it never stopped. It was just weird, like
It just came natural.
It just
like
came
it's-
natural. Like, yeah, I couldn't find certain things, like you have to ask people and stuff like that. But I'm like, where this at? Then I start, reading the signs and stuff where they say they have stuff in this department and stuff like that. And this aisle, I just started reading. I just resumed, I guess.
She said, "Play
Right.
back."
Good, man.
I
You
resumed.
were equipped in some way, shape, or form with those skills to jump back in it.
Right.
Some people, I feel like they have them. It's just it takes them a little longer to acclimate.
But when I first got out the van, I was kind of on edge, like, But then, I was just following everybody in, and I was like, one of the girls was like, come on, because I was like the last one, because they look at me like a leader, and the people at the program was like, you're going to help too, as well as you're going to shop. So I was like, I thought it was my job to walk behind them because they don't want nobody to escape. So they put me in that leadership position. So when we went in there, I was like, so what
That's
do
I'm
I
saying.
do?
You look right, left. You're like, you're saying I can just go out there, right? Like,
Yeah, so when she said go shop, she said, you're going to take this person, that person, this person with you? And she was like, and I'm right here. And then they're going to go over here to this aisle, and I'm going to be standing right here waiting for you guys to come back to this basket. And I'm like, cool. So that's what we did.
Can I ask you something? I haven't asked anybody this. This is the first
All right,
time.
let's hear it. What is it?
Now,
know.
now you're gassing it. It's gonna be
yeah.
trash. It's gonna be a trash question. Okay, when you got up, this is gonna be a trash question. You gassed it. When you get off the van, right? It's been a minute. When you looked around, did you think, damn, those cars are nice?
I was looking at the cars when we was on the freeway.
Okay.
So I was like, okay, these must be smart cars everybody driving and stuff like that. And I was like, dang, what I'm gonna be driving? Because I'm gonna be driving.
Right.
Like you weren't tripped out, like, damn, what the hell is that? Or like, what?
Tesla.
Nah.
Is that guy driving
No, I
by
wasn't
himself?
tripped out
Like,
at all. I was just excited, and I was looking at all the cars, and I was like, I want me a Charger. If I don't get a Charger, I want an Impala. If I
Wow,
don't
you're
get
already
a
trying to
Impala,
go
I
fast.
want a Malibu. But what's crazy? I wind up getting a Malibu, a Chevy Malibu.
Nice.
Those are one of the cars that I said,
The one's on the list.
yeah, it was on the list. Yep.
so you go through the program, and what are you doing now? Like, are you giving resources? Because I know.
I go to the program with my mentor mentality, and I feel like they didn't have enough groups and stuff, so I started creating things and got
Good.
close to the parole agent, and she was
Yeah.
like, "Oh, I like that." She started typing up proposals and stuff
Damn,
like that.
you giving her
I
game.
had over 20-some proposals, and I talked to every participant in the program, and I was like, "Hey, what do you think about this?" I said, "You rap, right? You want to have like a little music group, like." Oh, you do church music? You want to have like, church choir? She like, yeah. I'm like, oh, you like the praise dance? You want to get a little praise dance group together? I'm like, oh, that's cool. I said, you do poetry? You want to get a poetry class going on? She like, yeah. I said, oh, you? I said, what do you do? Oh, like a book club. You want to start a book club? That's cool. Everything that I could think of.
Lorisa.
Because when we got there, they didn't have many groups, like one or two. We was bored. You feel me? So I'm like, we got to get something going. I was like, what about an art class? You like do art? We can do art class on Saturdays, I was like, an hour or two, and I was like, hey, how don't we do some community thing? Like when we have a game day, we can go outside on the weekends and have all these different kind of games and we kick it with each other. And so I was coming up with all kind of ideas, and them people at the program did not like me. They thought I come in there to control their shit.
Damn.
Hey,
just
to
I'm just trying to help out because we bored up in here,
Yeah, no, and I get it, right? You're used to the program in there. Now you find yourself with a bunch of fucking time. And
Yeah.
you won't have those programs. But do you think it was because now they're like, you know what? Now you got to get the fuck out there to go get a job.
That was a battle
Was
for
that a
me.
thing, or
That was a
no?
battle for me because the CC3 that we had there at the halfway house, she wasn't trying to let nobody out that house. I did everything I was supposed to do. Ran a positive program, was a mentor at the same time. Came up with these ideas, helped them with it, and I made sure that we celebrate holidays, Cinco de Mayo, June 16th. Like I made sure, get with one of the staff, one of the staff that I knew was cool, that liked me. I was like, we should do this, we should do that. Oh, yeah. She was like, put it on a proposal. We're going to get it started up. I'm like, okay, we get put it on a proposal. She'll vouch for it, and we get it cracking. I had people doing skits. I had somebody do George Floyd skit, and I played in it. I was George Floyd.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
That's cool.
That's very deep.
Yeah, it was cool. I had somebody do Rosa Parks.
Damn, that's.
Yeah, it was cool. Like, we did a lot of different things and stuff. But, it was just, I think that's me.
So eventually, they let you out to go find something, get something going. Talk to us about that a little bit.
What?
Kind of
They let me out?
like yeah.
Oh, so when they let me out, it's like, first I got out and I went to this job place called JT Resources.
Okay.
So they helped me with a labor job. I didn't like it. I wound up catching the flu because they had us working in the rain. They didn't offer us no rain jackets or nothing like that. So I wound up catching the flu. So after that, I started, browsing online and stuff. And I said, oh, PV Jobs. Let's see what this about.
Oh shit.
Damn.
So I
Never
see
heard of the
PV
place.
Jobs, and I go to the staff and say, it's this organization that helps you with jobs. They got a little training going on. I want to do it. It's right up my alley, construction. And they was like, oh, you got to go through our system to do it. I said, well, when people find jobs, they just can go. Why do I got to go through a system? This is a training program, And so they said I had to go through their system. So that's when I went through Lorisa and them. And she started communicating with you guys for me and got me in the program. Then one of the staff caught the bus with me down here, came into here, spoke with you guys, and learned where my classroom was going to be. And I started having to fill out a schedule a weekly schedule of the times that was on your calendar when I had to be there, and I had to put an hour and a half or 2 hours before and after because I had to catch the bus.
Yeah.
Passes and all that. Okay.
Yeah, so that started. So I started coming to you guys' classes. I graduate, and now I want to enter the 500-hour class. So you guys set me up for that. I get to the 500-hour class. You guys treat me, from the gate like I was family. Like it was just love from the gate, you know. So, I mean, it was a blessing to run into you guys because I was not only able to get out the program, but learning and meeting a lot of you, different personalities, and different type of love and different type of help, and you guys are consistent at it, and then making sure I was able to get into the 500-hour class, and even after I graduated the class or was done with the class, you guys still let me stay there. Because I was still in the program, and the program didn't want to let me get no job.
Right.
So you guys let me stay there until I got out the program. And that was just it. And then, on my times that, I was bored, I just started painting. And the next thing you know, you guys put me in a painting unit. I mean, it's crazy.
So
I
for y'all,
remember it.
That's
I really
crazy.
remember it.
Yeah,
I was
the
like,
whole
they
thing,
need a
man.
painter.
You guys had an
I remember
escort.
it, and I'm
Yeah.
like, let's hit up Lorisa. She's ready. Why not painting?
right?
Right?
It was you and someone else, I believe. Another.
Yeah, there's someone
lady,
else
right?
with you too.
Yeah.
I was like, why not? We hit up the contractor. They're like, hey, are you willing? They're like, hell yeah, why not? We're like,
Vanessa.
I got you.
That's what it was,
Exactly.
Vanessa.
Exactly.
And to kind of explain real quick what Lorisa's talking about is she went through a construction-based training, which is like our 3-week course. They do the in-class training stuff. And from there, we have a training site, construction training site on site. And so with that, what happens is that individuals that want to keep building their skills in construction, they come to that 500-hour training and they keep building on site. And so we have our trainers that help them out, build their skills and get better at what they do. And so that's what you were doing at that point.
Yeah.
And it's just dope. Like we saw the determination with Lorisa.
Yes.
Like
yes.
it's wild because we have so many individuals sometimes across the street that may not be ready, can't pass the drug test or haven't been punctual to the trainings and things like that. And obviously you take that into consideration because we don't want to set them up for failure. But we noticed Lorisa and we're like, wow, like she's been on her stuff. We've been tracking it. She's been doing great. We got this great opportunity. We're like, Lorisa most definitely will exceed at this.
Right.
And so we got her plugged into what union now?
man.
What union? Local
Local
what?
1036.
Local 1036. Shout out to Local 1036 for taking one of our individuals because let's be real, man. Like a lot of people come out and they don't know where they can go, and then unions give these opportunities to help individuals out.
Right.
And so you're given the opportunity to get that, and then also there's benefits involved and things of that
Yes.
sort that are so people don't realize how beneficial they are
Right.
until they have them and need them.
Right.
And so,
And I just want to say too, I always tell my folks, it's not even us. We just throw a softball.
Right, that part.
You put in all the work. You did
That
everything.
part,
You
yeah.
had to show up. It goes on and on and on. It comes from you. So, you know what I'm saying? You put it down. You put in the work and shit. You're still going at it.
right, killing it.
What stage apprentice are you right now?
2 second.
Come on, man. Come on.
And people, you
Matriculate.
keep making money as you go in these stages. Like once you get journeyman level, what you could be
You get a
making
raise.
40
yeah,
something.
40. Well, painters
And then it
depending
goes
on the
higher
union.
than that. Yeah.
yeah.
It goes sheet metal, so on and
Right.
so forth. But whatever. But that was it, man. And you stuck with it. I'm glad you stuck with it. You don't know how many times we go through the whole headache of getting people into the union, and they may last. I had a guy, we did the whole shebang. He did the boot camp and everything. He lasted half a shift, and he said, you know what? This isn't for me. And I'm like, oh, man. We paid 300, 400, 500. Again, none of this is a big deal. We're in the second chances. We're in the third chances, right?
A million
But you got to
chances.
be blunt with us. Let me
Yeah.
know. Just say, you know what? I really ain't feeling it. And we're happy
Right.
with that. I'm more than happy with that. You know. But you're one of the individuals that took it and ran with it. You got the you got a
Absolutely.
car. You got the whole everything. you
Right.
know?
And you're venturing out now, right?
Yeah.
You're like doing different, you're trying to try different things. Like obviously you want to test the waters, right?
Yep.
So now what is your ultimate goal going forward for yourself right now? Actually, real quick, let me ask you something. We didn't even touch on this.
What?
And shame on us for not touching on this, bro. When you got out with your kids, what was that like?
Yeah, man.
Man, first of all, my daughter, she picked me up. My oldest.
So she was 12-ish? Oh, no, 11-ish at the 9-ish?
Yeah, she
And now
picked me
she's-
up. Now she's grown.
Damn, that has to be a trip, man.
She picked me up, and she take me, because, you know, they give you 24 hours to see your parole agent. I wanted to see my parole agent right away. I just want to get it out the way.
Yeah.
So she took me to the parole agent office. She had us waiting a little minute because she wasn't there yet. So we went out to lunch. By the time we got back, I was able to see her. So we went to the Buffalo spot, got some food, ate in the car, talked about a lot of different things. And then I went up to see the parole agent, and she was like, she's not going to drug test me or none of that. Like, I ran a good program, and my case wasn't drug affiliated. So she said that I didn't really have a lot of stipulations.
Right.
Thank God. Like, my stipulations was basically not to go out a 50-mile radius, no weapons, not to be around known gangbangers, known
The usual.
gang areas.
Yeah.
And that was about it.
And your younger one was where, too?
She was in Georgia.
Oh, so you didn't get to see him.
So I didn't get to see her right away.
Yeah.
But I not too long ago flew out there to see her because she graduated. She's a police officer.
Gotcha.
What?
Yes.
Wow.
Bro, that is so badass, man.
Yeah,
I went out there, watched her get sworn in, all that. So
That's nice.
graduation,
Rats,
so
we
it's
need
cool.
a round of, let's hit the applause right quick. Let's get it, baby. Come on, man. We changing this shit up. That's the objective. That's the point of this. I can't wait. I wish my daughter, again, she's there. She's got a few more years, hopefully, you know?
Right.
Same thing, you know? Hopefully they don't go down the same road we do, you know?
Right.
Shit, so if you had something to tell somebody that's in your shoes, that's maybe at one of the houses that you were just at, what is something, a takeaway that you would give them?
Don't stop fighting. If you want to change and you want something different in your life, don't stop fighting, because I'm telling you, the devil is there. He'll keep trying to knock you down and keep trying to knock you down, but keep striving, because I was fighting. I was fighting with staff and everything because I felt like they didn't want to see me, they didn't want to see me prosper, and I made sure I prosper. Stay prayed up, but keep fighting.
Shit,
That part, man. Let's go.
With that being said, I want to thank you, Lorisa, for sharing your time with us, man. Taking the day. It's fucking whatever. We're doing it though, and I appreciate you, for taking the time and giving back to us and making it happen,
Yep.
So with that said, Reentry Network Podcast, mess with us, baby. Let's get it.